Hello, it's me again. Today's date is January 18th, 2018, or 1/18/2018 is the date that I am making this portion of this video. Today's video, or should I say in this video, I am going to show you exactly what the 1997 Florida Statute 796.07 said, and why exactly, according to that very same statute, there is no such thing as criminal solicitation of prostitution, according to the very statute itself. What I'm also going to do is explain to you exactly why they keep running this stupid thing. Why they keep pumping all these people through the court system. Simply put, it's because of money. Money. In 1997, there was zero fine for anyone violating Florida Statute 796.07. In the year 2018, it is the fine for the male, or for a violation of subsection F2 or 2F, is $5,000. You heard me. $5,000. Okay? The reason for that is very simple. The first thing that they want is they want people to go out and get attorneys to prolong court cases, because the only way that the $5,000 fine is dropped is if the case is dismissed or the person is acquitted. The only way to do that, according to them, is to get an attorney. When there is no such thing, as you will clearly see in the first part of this video, in criminal solicitation of prostitution. I walk you through and I show you how in 1997 they violated every aspect of Florida Statute 796.07. Who's they? The Jacksonville Vice. Plain and simple. Folks, we need to stop this. This statute, Florida Statute 796.07, is the most ungodly statute, as you will clearly see, on the face of God's green earth. So says the statute itself. This will stop. We are destroying people's lives, all simply by shaming them, all to shame them, all to reclassify somebody. Almighty God doesn't shame people. Period. Now, I can say something about this, because you've already seen, these people have said, you've already seen the two court cases. They said, the Fourth Circuit Court says that I was arrested for lewd lascivious sexual battery and solicitation of prostitution on the felony side, or on the circuit side, and in the county court, or on the misdemeanor side, it says that I was arrested for solicitation of prostitution. Bring out that document. And you tell me exactly what solicitation of prostitution is, Mr. Fourth Circuit Court. That's why they fear me. Because I'm going to expose them. I am exposing them for all of their lies. Christian, this is on you. This is on you, Christian. Do you really need to feel superior to someone else? You're a control freak. Stop it. You are writing a check with your actions, with your deeds, with your thoughts, with your words that you, professing Christian, are going to have to pay for with your eternal soul. Period. Period. You are allowing this, law-abiding citizen. There is no such thing as criminal solicitation of prostitution. You will clearly see that after watching this video. And you will understand now why they are trying their best to keep me. That's the reason why they fear me. Because I am the only one out of this entire original 1997 supposed reverse escort stay that they could not coerce or shame into saying that, well, you were just trying to have sex. Because that's all that they can say nowadays. Even today. Even today. That's all they can say. Well, you were trying, you thought, you did since when? And that explains exactly what that statute is, 796.07. Someone trying to have sex outside of wedlock. Period. It's not a criminal act. If, according to this statute, and I've said it before, anyone who has had premarital sex or sex out of wedlock, the female is a prostitute and the male is a John. You're a criminal, according to that statute. Period. This is going to stop. It's going to disgust you you once you realize what supposed law enforcement officers are doing to these people. We're treating these people, they are pimping out these people, the lost. And you law-abiding citizens, you professing Christians are allowing it to take place. Not me. I'm saying something. This is wrong. These people, a minister of Almighty God does not condemn people, does not treat another human being or treat a human being as if they are beneath another human being. As if there is no hope for them. Christ was I've said it before in other videos. Christ came that we all may have life and have it more abundantly. If you can truly get through the first 30 minutes or the next 30 minutes of this video and still believe that, or still confess, or still profess that there is a such thing as criminal solicitation of prostitution, you are the problem. You are a control freak, and you will be exposed for the control freak that you are. You really truly believe that you are up here and everybody else is down there. And again, why do they still do it today? Simple. Just to keep the lawyers, just to keep the courts full. Without people in the courts, then there is no reason for all those big state attorneys' staffs, for all those judges, for all those law enforcement officers. No need for them. So we've got to create criminals that aren't a threat to us, that are easy to capture. Who's easy to capture is somebody that's being shamed for trying to have sex. You are convincing them that they are a criminal. There is no such thing as criminal solicitation of prostitution. Y'all need to stop this. This is going to stop. You all said that I was arrested for this not once, not twice, 3 times. There's 3 documents that says I was arrested for solicitation of prostitution. You all need to explain to me exactly what that is and exactly why it's a criminal act. Because you all are the ones saying it. The burden of proof is on you, the state. I'm coming. And remember what the end result of all of this was. 8-year-old Cherish Periwinkle was kidnapped, raped, and murdered. 20 years of my life was stolen from me, and the 3 Thornton women believe that it's their fault. They are the reason why Cherish Periwinkle was kidnapped, raped, and murdered. Because they didn't do enough. All because you control freaks have egos. We're coming for you. We are coming for you. You all got some explaining to do. Why does this record say what it says? The burden of proof is on you. So says the law. Let's get on with this video, shall we? And this is going to call out all the control freaks. You watch the next 30 minutes of this video, and then you tell me if you still truly believe. If you still truly believe that there is a such thing as criminal solicitation of prostitution. And as soon as you say, yeah, you're outing yourself for the control freak that you are. You are the problem. And we will, go ahead, fine, we'll just ignore you. We'll just remove the threat. Just get out of there and go sit down. Go someplace where you won't bother anybody. Away from law-abiding, away from, you take your judgmental self and go someplace else. We're sick and tired of you. We're tired of you definers. We're tired of you all of you people who think you're better than somebody else. Simply because you got a title. So let's get on with this video, shall we? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly why I have been saying that there is no such thing as criminal solicitation of prostitution using the very statute of soliciting for prostitution. The first reason why I say that there is no such thing as criminal solicitation of prostitution is because the very statute itself says so. The very statute itself says that it is not a crime, it is simply prohibited. Think of things that are prohibited. Littering is prohibited. Have you ever seen anyone arrested and put in jail for littering? Not dumping, littering. Throwing a piece of paper on the ground. No, you haven't. What else is prohibited? Jaywalking is prohibited. Have you ever seen anyone arrested for jaywalking? No, they are given a citation. What else is prohibited? Smoking in restaurants. Smoking in a movie theater. Have you ever seen anyone arrested for smoking in a restaurant, for smoking in a movie theater? No. They are asked to put it out or leave. Period. What else is prohibited? Skateboarding in a little mall area is prohibited. They don't come arrest the kids. They give the kids a citation that the parents have to pay because it's not a criminal act. It's prohibited. Loitering is prohibited. You are not allowed just to hang out. So what do they tell you? We don't care where you go, but you just can't stay here. Leave. It's prohibited. Now, if you continue to stay loitering in front of a business, now loitering has just become trespassing. That's a crime. But I digress. There is no such thing as criminal solicitation of prostitution, so says the statute, because it is so. Prostitution is merely prohibited. What you have to remember is the reason why the statute was set up in the first place. It is to prevent streetwalkers from walking up to people on the street and soliciting them and saying, hey, you want a blowjob? Give me $20 and I'll give you a blowjob. That is what it's meant to prevent. It's meant to prevent sex in public. That is what it is meant to prevent. Having sex in a car is, again, that is a lewd act. Making out, you all didn't know this, but there's a Florida statute that says if you are making out in public, kissing, getting hot and heavy in the park, that's a lewd act. It's the same thing as being a prostitute. Hence the term, get a room. We don't want to see that. We don't care if you do it, but we don't want to sit there and watch you as you do it. Got little kids around. You don't want to open up your door in the middle of the night and look out in the driveway and see two strangers knocking boots in the back seat of a car. You don't want to wake up and find used condoms on your front lawn. That is what this is. It's designed to. We don't care what you do behind closed doors. But you're not going to walk up to someone, a total complete stranger, and ask them, hey, do you want to have sex? Which is what a lot of the streetwalkers do. Because the vast majority of the streetwalkers are out there they are out there because they have a drug problem. Because most of you all, when you think of a prostitute, that's what you think of. You think of the movies with the with the girl standing on the street corner, swinging her hips, wearing fishnet stockings and so on, walking up to the car. Hey, what you looking for? How can I help you? We can have a good time, that kind of thing. And yes, those people exist. That is who this statute was written for. Not for people, not for two consenting adults to decide, for whatever reason, to have sexual relations in private. It's nobody's business. Now, I'm going to use this statute to prove that point to you and to show you how big of a control freak. It worked. It drove all the streetwalkers all. Look, if you do not want to pay for sex, okay? If you do not want to pay for sex, then just don't go out seeking to pay for sex. But that's just like saying that the easiest way to stop drunk driving is to stop selling liquor. How did that work out? People are going to do what they want to do. Plain and simple. People are going to do whatever in the world they want to do because they're a free will creature. But at the end of the day, at the end of the road, at the end of the line, you're going to have to give an account for what you've done with your life to the one who gave you the life. That's your Creator. This statute is the most ungodly statute, and we don't even have to go that very far into it before you see this. Okay? Because they're going to give definitions. Okay? Prostitution means, you're going to love it right off the bat, means the giving or receiving of the body for sexual activity for hire. In other words, as soon as you involve money. Well, it has morphed into anything of value is what it's going into. Anything of value. The giving or receiving of the body for sexual activity for hire, but excludes sexual activity between spouses. In other words, the wives, they can say, honey, if you want some tonight, you're going to have to go buy me that diamond ring. You're going to have to get me a day at the spa. You're going to have to do this. You're going to have to get me a new washing machine. If you want some of my sweet honey pot, you're going to have to do something for me. That is the most ungodly thing. The Word of God is clear. The Word of God is true. Husbands, do not deny your wives your body. Wives, do the same. Do not deny your husbands your body. This, you just read it. It's okay for a wife to prostitute herself to her husband and give or receive her body for sexual activity as long as she gets something out of it. You just read it! There is no such thing as criminal solicitation of prostitution, because there is no other law anywhere that says it's okay to violate this law, or you're not violating this law if you're married. Period. First lie. Right there is gone. Again, this statute was set up to prevent people from walking up to couples. Again, I was born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. It's a tourist city, and that's what they were having a problem with, where the prostitutes, the little streetwalkers down in the French Quarter, were walking up to tourists, walking up to husbands who were walking with their wives, and soliciting them, saying, hey, look, man, I'm way better looking than her. You give me $20 and I'll go and whatever. On the news. That's what this is preventing. It's preventing sex in public. It's not preventing sex behind closed doors. Because again, what I don't care what you do behind closed doors or who you do it with. Why? Because I don't want you coming sticking your little busybody nose into my business and asking me what I'm doing behind my closed doors and who I'm doing it with. Because it's none ya. That be none ya daggum business. Period. Now the next one is completely, it's an opinion. Lewdness means any indecent or obscene act. Now, again, who defines what lewdness is? Who defines what lewdness is? Who does? Because this is the definer. We're going to define what is lewd. It's not lewd when the police pose as prostitutes. When police officers pose as prostitutes, that's not lewd. It's not lewd to put a female law enforcement officer and have her profess to be a prostitute. That's not lewd. But it's lewd if someone without who's not a law enforcement officer to do the very same thing. No such thing as criminal solicitation of prostitution. Now, what is a lewd or indecent act? Walking up to a stranger, total complete stranger on the street, and saying, "Hey, I'm better looking than she is. Look, you give me $20 and I'll perform some type of sex acts for you." That's lewd. You don't know nobody. You don't know them. But if if all they got to say is no. It's not a criminal act. It's lewd. It's offensive, but it's not a criminal act. You didn't walk up to him and punch him in the face. All you got to do is just say no, and then just stay away from that. Then just stay away from that person. All you got to do is say no. Period. But again, people know who prostitutes are. People, if you want to, we just got done reading all those arrest and booking reports in the previous videos. They knew. Hello, you're not stupid. You know what it is. But everybody, you know, but they're convinced that the only reason why someone would call is because they're trying to pay for sex. And again, everybody pays for it. Everybody. Everybody. Now here's the next one. Lewdness is being lewd, crude, or socially unacceptable is not a criminal act. It's offensive. You just stay the heck away from them. You don't have them come over. You don't hang out with them, period. This is just a flat-out lie. Assignation means the making of any appointment or engagement for prostitution or lewdness or any act in furtherance of such appointment or engagement. That's a lie. Here is the very definition of assignation. You're reading it right here. An appointment to meet someone in secret, typically one made by lovers. Period. That's the definition of it. There is nothing in here. There's two definitions. Nothing in here about prostitution. They're lying to you. They're using big words because they have dumbed down the American people to the point where you don't know what assignation means. Y'all don't know the English language. You just read it. What is assignation? An appointment to meet someone in secret, typically one made by lovers. In other words, okay, Romeo and Juliet made an appointment for assignation. They were committing assignation. They were meeting in secret. They were lovers, and they didn't want their two families to know about it. No, I'm sorry. You're wrong, Kay. According to this Florida statute, Juliet was nothing but a prostitute, and Romeo was nothing but the daggum John. That's what this says. Assignation means the making of any appointment or engagement for prostitution or lewdness. They're defining what lewdness is. They are defining what prostitution is. And remember, hey, you wives, it's okay for you to get something out the deal because, hey, you're married. Like I said, everybody pays for it. D, sexual activity means oral, anal, or vaginal penetration by or union with the sexual organ of another, anal or vaginal penetration of another, or by any other object, or the handling or fondling of the sexual organ of another for the purpose of masturbation. However, the term does not include acts done for bona fide medical purposes. Okay, that just described sexual battery. Remember, we've already looked into that. That's sexual battery. Now, if you perform oral sex, anal sex, vaginal sex, or you masturbate someone out in public, that's lewd. Nobody wants to see that. Get a room. Okay? But that is not sexual activity. You don't know what sexual activity is? We all know. We are all hardwired. We all know what sexual activity is. No one has to be taught how to have sex. There is no class that teaches anybody how to have sex. We all know how to have sex. Because we're hardwired that way. Period. We're hardwired that way by our Creator. Because we are designed to procreate, and in order to procreate, you must have sexual activity. But notice the one thing that is not listed. They do not define solicitation. You're reading it. You're reading it. Now, why? Because there is no such thing as criminal solicitation or prostitution. It's just like asking somebody out for a date. If two people go out on a date and sex happens, whether by plan, whether by encouragement, whether by because they're in love, or whether just because they're just they burn, they're horny. That's none of my business. I don't care about that. I don't care. I'm not going to be the one that has to give an account for what they do. They're the ones that are going to have to live with the consequences of what they do. Period. None of my business. But again, what we've done is we've taken this statute, and remember, ladies, I'm not going to get over it. I can't get over this. Prostitution means the giving or receiving of the body for sexual activity for hire, but excludes sexual activity between spouses. So you know what, wives? Hey, if you are going to have sex with your husband, you might as well get something out of it. Hold something over his head. And if you do, you're a prostitute. So says the statute. They just said it. But it's okay. It's okay for you to be a prostitute. It's okay for you to get something for having sex. Because, hey, you're married. And guys, it's okay for you to give your wives something. It's okay. It's okay to treat your wife as a prostitute. It's okay to go up to your wife. It's the most ungodly statute around. It's okay to go up to your wife and say, okay, how much tonight, baby? How much? What you need? What you need some spending money here? I got $20. I got $50. I got $100. It's the most ungodly statute around. There is no such thing as criminal solicitation or prostitution. Now, how did they violate it? They violated everything, every single thing with that sting, with this very first ever reverse escort sting. And here we go. Here we go. It is unlawful to own, establish, maintain, or operate any place, structure, building, or conveyance. Any place. What did they do? They set up a phone number. That's a place. That room, wherever the phone was, is a place. They're not sitting out in Never Never Land. We put in that as soon as we turned on the phone, it was ringing off the hook. They set up a place they set up an ad and a place where they could receive calls to accept to make deals, to tell people about how much money it was going to cost to people to bring their prostitutes over to people's houses. You're reading it. That's a place, structure, building, or conveyance for the purpose of lewdness, assignation, or prostitution. Now, again, how in the world, how many of these police officers, how many of the people arrested had sex? None of them. None of them had sex. So, when did sexual activity take place? So what you're saying is, okay, police officers, are you all going to have sex with these people? Were you going to give were you going to perform oral sex on that 67-year-old man? Officer Etheridge, or Etheridge, you're not a police officer, you're a joke. You're scum of the earth. Were you going to perform oral sex? No? Then why did you arrest him? That means you're not a prostitute then. So why the heck did you go over there? Oh, you went over there just to shame him. Oh! No such thing as criminal solicitation or prostitution. But again, they violated that first section now, didn't they? It is unlawful to own, establish, okay. It is unlawful to offer or agree to secure another for the purpose of prostitution or for any other lewd or indecent act. Again, what do you think the ad is for? It says what he's doing. You call up and you ask for girls. They're offering to bring them over to you. They just violated the statute. They're securing the girls. No such thing as criminal solicitation of prostitution. No such thing. It is unlawful to receive or to offer or agree to receive any person into any place, structure, building, or conveyance for the purpose of prostitution, lewdness, or assignation, or to permit any person to remain there for such purposes. They went out and got a hotel room. The last two guys were received at a hotel room. Why did they come? Well, because Strickland said, "Hey, you're coming to pay to have these girls have sex with you." They violate the statute again. No such thing as criminal solicitation of prostitution. It is unlawful to direct, take, or transport, or to offer or agree to direct, take, or transport any person to any place, structure, or building, or to any other person with knowledge or reasonable cause to believe that the purpose of such directing, taking, or transporting is prostitution, lewdness, or assignation. The police escort was run like any other escort service around town. Men called the listed number in the newspaper and were told there was a $60 or an $80 fee to deliver to escorts. Y'all just violated your own statute. One of the detectives drove the posing escort, you just violated it again, to hotels or residences the callers gave them, and acting as a bodyguard, collected the fee. You just became a pimp after introducing the undercover cops nicknamed Angel and Sabrina. There is no such thing as criminal solicitation of prostitution. Okay? It is unlawful to offer, to commit, or to engage in prostitution, lewdness, or assignation. Again, the simple fact that they came over says that they are agreeing to engage in prostitution. What? You're not? You're not agreeing to do it? Then why in the world was? So you had no intention of taking the money? You took the money. So you're nothing but a tease then, right? No such thing as criminal solicitation of prostitution. It is unlawful to solicit, induce, entice, or procure another to commit prostitution, lewdness, or assignation. Where did how do you get all these female officers to agree to accept money? Hello? What, these women just walk up to you and say, "Hey, I'm a slut, I'm a tramp, I'm a whore. Use me. I'll spread my legs for any man." Where'd you get them from? You had to offer them. You had to find out if they were willing to go tease a guy, to set a guy up. You had to ask them. That's a lewd thing. That's a lewd thing. To ask somebody, "Hey, do you want to help set somebody up? We're going to get these guys. Are you willing to let a guy tell you that he's willing to give you? Are you willing to tell a guy that you are? Are you willing to tell a man that if he gives you $125, you'll give him a blowjob? That if he gives $130, that you will let him watch you and another woman have lesbian sex, and then if he's really turned on, that you're willing to tell him that, hey, if he wants to join in, he can then have sex with either or both of you? That's a sick thing to ask somebody. That is a lewd thing to even ask. It's a lewd offering. Period. But it gets worse. It gets much, much worse. G, to reside in, enter, or remain in any place, structure, or building, or to enter or remain in any conveyance for the purpose of prostitution, lewdness. It's against the law for you to even go over to the house. It's against the law for you to even stay in that hotel room that you all got, Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. There is no such thing as criminal solicitation of prostitution. It is unlawful to aid, abet, or participate in any of the acts or things enumerated in this subsection. And they violated every single one of them just by posting the ad, by going to the guys' houses, by inviting them over to the hotel room. There is no such thing as criminal solicitation of prostitution. It is unlawful to purchase the services of any person engaged in prostitution. Well, again, you're not purchasing. What was purchased? Because none of the guys had sex with anybody. So what did they get? They got lied to? They got lied to. Nothing was purchased. Now, it gets worse. Here's the one that I really love. Subsection 3. In the trial of a person charged with a violation of this section, testimony concerning the reputation, you're reading it, folks, the reputation of any place, structure, building, or conveyance involved in the charge, testimony concerning the reputation of any person residing in, operating, or frequenting such place, structure, building, or conveyance, and testimony concerning the reputation of the defendant is admissible as evidence in support. In other words, you can slander somebody, you can give your opinion. You're a bad person simply because you say that you're a bad person. You're a prostitute simply because I say you're a prostitute because I want to feel like I'm better than you. Subsection number 4, a person who violates any provision of this section commits a misdemeanor of the first degree, a misdemeanor of the second degree, for a first violation punishable as provided in, and again, there's those same two statutes. And subsection B, a misdemeanor of the first degree for a second violation punishable as provided in statute 775. Same two statutes. What's missing? No fines. No fines. No fine. You're not fined anything. All you're going to have to do is pay court costs. You know what the fine is today in the year 2018 for the guy? $5,000. And it's no longer a second-degree misdemeanor. It is a first-degree misdemeanor for the first offense. First-degree misdemeanor. You heard me. $5,000. $5,000. I'll show you the statute. I'll show you the statute. There is no such thing as criminal solicitation of prostitution. You people, what they have done is they have taken this statute and they are now pimping out the prostitutes. They are forcing these girls to set guys up so that they can collect $5,000. The next time you see, if you live in the state of Florida, the next time you see a prostitution sting, and they say 18 men were arrested, Take 18 and multiply it by $5,000, and that's how much they made. That's why they do it. Period. So you tell me, who's pimping out who? But the biggest reason why this ungodly statute needs to be done away with is because of what it does. It creates defenseless victims. Victims that cannot defend themselves. Period. You don't believe me? Okay. Here is an article. We're right back with the Florida Times-Union. And this is dated 1/23/98. A little over a month and a half, almost 2 months after the very first ever reverse escort sting operation. Well, they're still doing it. And if you ever wondered what happened to everybody, this is what happens to everybody. If you ever wonder what happens to prostitutes, this is what happens to prostitutes. We're going to scroll down here to crime news. Okay? What does that say? Undercover officer robbed. Who? Why, my good buddy J.W. Strickland gets robbed. 2 men robbed an undercover Jacksonville police officer Wednesday night, fired a shot at another, and led police on a 6-mile chase. Notice now, he's just a police officer. He is not a vice detective anymore. He's just a police officer. Fred Taylor, 19, of the 4900 block of Chivalry Drive, and Terrence E. Shaw, 19, of the 1900 block of Tuskegee Road, were arrested about 10 p.m. on charges of armed robbery and aggravated assault on a police officer. Police said Detective J.W. Strickland was conducting a prostitution investigation, so I stand corrected. He's still a detective with the vice. And they're still playing the same little role. They're posting ads in the Florida Times-Union. This is what happens to these people, folks. This is what these people have to deal with every day. What people? The people that you all are calling prostitutes. These escorts. Police said Detective J.W. Strickland was conducting a prostitution investigation in the 5300 block of Plymouth Street when men pulled up. Taylor got out of the car, displayed a handgun, and told the detective to give it up, police said. Strickland raised his hands and Taylor took money from his pockets. The police said Taylor threatened Strickland when Detective Robert Beers yelled, "Police!" from across the street and ordered the robber to drop his gun. Police said Taylor then turned toward Beers, fired once, and fled in the car Shaw was driving. Beers wasn't hurt. After the pursuit, the robbers got out of the car near Harlow Boulevard and Mother Hubbard Lane and ran, police said. They were caught a short time later. And the only reason why you're reading about this, the only reason why they're printing it, the only reason why it's newsworthy is because, well, it happened to a good guy, J.W. Strickland. You control freaks seem to forget that these are human beings that you're talking about. And these supposed prostitutes get raped on a regular basis. And they can't report it. Who are they going to report it to? Who are they going to report it to? Well, who did it? Well, I had a guy come over, one of my Johns. Oh, you're a prostitute? Nah, you got what you deserved. They get guns stuck in their face all the time. What you going to do? Who are you going to report it to? You're nothing but a little prostitute. They get raped all the time. One known prostitute had her throat slit. Now, this prostitute was well known, not for being a streetwalker. She was well known for being an escort. And I'm talking within the last year. This mother who had a regular job and only turned tricks, as it were, when she needed money for her children. She had a regular job. All of her neighbors, they had no idea that she was a prostitute. In fact, the story that was run didn't even mention her as a prostitute. Well, Kay, how do you know she was a prostitute? Because I ministered to the girl. I ministered to her. No, and I'm not trying to be stupid and say I had sex with the girl. These girls post ads online, and they're the most hurt people on the face of God's green earth. And all you got to do is just show them some love. Just let them know, look, you have value. I understand why you're doing this, and I know you hate doing what you're doing. And within 5 minutes, the girls are crying. Because they feel like that they're convinced that they're criminals. And all they're trying to do is keep food on the table for their little ones, a roof over the head of their little ones, and clothes on the back of their little ones. But you all want to judge everybody. You all are perfect. You've got to be better than somebody. Ooh, how can you talk to those prostitutes? Jesus said, when asked the very same question, because he hung around prostitutes, he hung around tax collectors, he hung around the lost. And what was Jesus' response? It is the sick who needs a physician. If you don't believe that the police pimp out these people, if you're not going to take my word for it, will you believe a nationally known? Would you take the word of a nationally known, recognized agency called Children of the Night? And what do? They encourage the prostitutes. Hey, look. You come to us if you want to get out of the lifestyle, if you want to get away from that. If you are being forced to do that, you come to us. We will take care of you. We will give you someplace to live. We will teach you some type of trade. If you're strung out on drugs, we will get you cleaned up so that you can have pride in yourself and that you can become the best you that you can be. Children of the Night. Look it up. They say, point blank, one of my Facebook friends is a reporter for InfoWars. And she did a wonderful interview with this woman. And the woman said the same thing. They pimp the girls out. And the police do. She said, what? She says, yeah. What they do is they tell them, look, as long as you give us information on some other criminals, we won't arrest you. We won't come take your kids away. As long as you set somebody else up, we won't bother you. It's sick. It's sick. Now this is the 2017 version of Florida Statute 796.07. Look at the size of this document. Look at the size of this. This is what it has morphed into. Look at this. Look at this. We have gone in 20 years, we have gone from this 1997 version, not even 2 pages. This is the entire 1997 statute, to this 3 pages of information on the same subject. Now, this is what just so you know, right here, subsection 6. A person who violates paragraph 2F, that's the guy that is soliciting a prostitute, shall be assessed a civil penalty of $5,000 if the violation results in any judicial disposition other than acquittal or dismissal. In other words, if you plead no contest, and even if the adjudication of guilt is withheld, you're still going to pay $5 grand. Why is that in there? I'm going to tell you why that's in there. Because it's so easy to set somebody up to get caught in a solicitation of prostitution sting. It's not funny. Because in 2017, now 2018, all you have to do is offer anything of value with the expectation that sexual activity might occur. Some type of sexual activity might occur. Meaning, the only reason why you're taking someone out to lunch, the only reason why you're having them come in for a job interview is because you believe that they will agree to have sex with you because of that. That's how simple it is to set these people up. That's how easy it is to get caught up. Either for the guy or for the girl. Because the same reverse works for the girl. The only reason why you're being nice, why you're flirting with me, is because you're a prostitute and you're trying to get something from. Oh, see how it works. The only reason why you're dressing that way is because you're just trying to get some. You're a gold digger. That's the only reason why you're with the guy. Is you're a gold digger. You're a prostitute. And hey dude, you're so fat and ugly, you gotta pay for it. See how it works? It's the most ungodly statute around. Now, of the proceeds from each penalty, we're right there. Of the proceeds from each penalty assessed under this subsection, the first $500 shall be paid to the circuit court administrator. So they get $500 right off the bat, for the sole purpose of paying the administrative cost of treatment-based drug court programs provided under Statute 397.334. In other words, all prostitutes are drug users. That's what they're saying. When the vast majority of these women don't take any type of drugs, they're doing it simply to keep clothes on the backs of their children, food in the mouths of their children, and a roof over the head of their children. And they know, and the law enforcement officers know it. What does the other $4,500 go to? The remainder of the penalty assessed shall be deposited in the Operations and Maintenance Trust Fund of the Department of Children and Families for the sole purpose of funding safe houses and safe foster homes as provided in Statute 409.1678. So this is what they do. They find a girl that's doing it not for drugs. She doesn't have a pimp. She's doing it to feed her children, to clothe her children, as well as to keep a roof over the head of her children. She doesn't do it 24/7. She's not doing it all the time because she probably has another type of job. The vast majority. You all don't know this because you all think that all of these escorts are nothing but a bunch of strung out drug dealers, drug heads. They're all smoking crack. They're all doing heroin. They're not. They're just trying to feed their family. So what do? They get a girl that needs some extra money for whatever reason. Christmas is coming up. Again, these girls don't like laying down with strange people. It makes them feel terrible. They don't like being violated, being treated like a product. Some of the things that these girls are asked to do is just utterly disgusting. Why they do it? Because they've got little children to take care of. Yes, some of them are strung out on drugs and the like, but the vast majority of them have children. So what do the law enforcement officers do? They come in and they you can tell, especially nowadays with all the internet ads. That's why these girls don't want to use their real photos. They use fake photos because they don't want to be harassed by law enforcement while they're at the mall with their family. It's nobody's business what anybody does behind closed doors with another consenting adult. Nobody's business. Period. So what did the police officers do? They come in and say, "Oh, okay, so you got kids? Okay, unless you help us you're a known prostitute. You're labeled a prostitute. That's it. That's it. If you don't help us catch other guys, we're going to put this on your record, and you're going to lose your job. Everybody's going to know that you're a prostitute, that you had sex for money." And again, everybody pays for it. Everybody pays for it. But the police and the control freaks are cutting it down and making it seem like that it's a criminal act. That's all you think about is sex. You're selling yourself. You have no. Oh God, you're so disgusting. You're so shaming. When you're the one that's shaming them. So the $4,500 is they say, okay, you know what? What we're going to do is we're going to take your kids, and they're going to be turned over to the Department of Children and Families, and they're going to be put in a safe house. They're going to be put in a foster home until you're going to come work for us. and you're going to post ads, and you've already got, heck, we'll even take your phone number. We're going to use your phone because you're a criminal. We're going to use your phone, and we're going to post your pictures, and you're going to answer the phone, and you're going to set these guys up. Otherwise, we're going to take your kids. Let me tell you what that is. That is forcing, compelling, or coercing another to become a prostitute or to prostitute themselves. After May 1st, 1943, it shall be unlawful for anyone to force, compel, or coerce another to become a prostitute. Anyone violating this section shall be guilty of a felony of the 3rd degree, punishable as provided in, and there's those very same 2 statutes used to penalize and violate the solicitation 796.07. That's what they're doing. The police coerce these girls, and who are you going to believe? Who exactly are you going to believe? Nobody's forcing you. You're a prostitute. You have no value. When these women are going to do whatever they have to do to keep their little ones safe, to get their little ones back, they don't. They're mothers! This needs to stop, and this will stop. This is wrong. And the only reason why they put such a high, in order to make that $5,000 penalty likable, you know what this is now? It is gone from a 2nd degree misdemeanor, which is the lowest misdemeanor. It is now a 1st degree misdemeanor. Okay? And it's only a 1st degree misdemeanor for the guy, not for the girl. Okay? Here we go. A person who violates any provision of this section other than paragraph 2F, which is the guy's portion, commits a misdemeanor of the 2nd degree for a 1st violation, that's for the girl. A misdemeanor of the 1st degree for the 2nd violation, that's for the girl. And a felony of the 3rd degree for a 3rd or subsequent violation. That way they can just keep stringing the girl along. Because once you're labeled a prostitute, you can't get a job anywhere else. So says Florida. So says the statutes. Well, you can if the employer is willing to look over it, but you got to list it down that you are a prostitute. You have sold yourself when it's not a criminal act. It is simply, and this statute still says, prohibiting prostitution. It still is not a criminal act. Okay? Now, a person who is charged with the 3rd or subsequent violation of this paragraph, other than paragraph 2F, other than the guy, shall be offered admission to a pretrial intervention program or a substance abuse treatment program as provided. What's the intervention program? Look, we're going to take your kids from you. We're about to take you. You are unworthy to have children. Now, a person who violates paragraph 2F, that's the guy. Number 1, a misdemeanor of the 1st degree for a 1st violation. A felony of the 3rd degree. Back in 1997, it was a 2nd degree. It was a misdemeanor. A misdemeanor. A misdemeanor of the 2nd degree. Now it can become what? A felony of the 3rd degree just for the 2nd violation. Why? Because the higher the level of the crime, the higher the level of the fine. Okay? In addition to any other penalty imposed, the court shall order a person convicted of a violation of paragraph 2F, found guilty, to perform 100 hours of community service. You got to go work for free. Pay for and attend an educational program about the negative effects of prostitution and human trafficking. They always link human trafficking to prostitution when they are the ones that are trafficking these girls. They're the ones that are forcing these girls into prostitution to turn tricks just to catch the guys. Such as a sexual violence prevention education program. They're the ones putting these girls at risk by naming them prostitutes because they get raped, they get murdered, they get their throats slit. Yeah, such great benefits of being an escort, of being a prostitute. Then why do they do it? Because they've got little kids looking up at them with hungry mouths. They got to feed them. They got to clothe them. They got to keep a roof over their head. Period. Well, they shouldn't have got pregnant. God help somebody like you. You're a control freak. You're a Pharisee. You're a Sadducee. Is what you are. You think you're better than somebody. You may be better off, but your value is not based on the size of your bank account. Your value is not based on where you live. Christian, we are all unique, one-of-a-kind, free will individuals, and our own unique, one-of-a-kind individual value is we are all priceless. In addition, including such programs offered by faith-based providers who they don't, when was, does your church do an outreach for prostitutes? No, heck no. Heck no. Y'all, most churches could care less about the lost. Go ask First Baptist in downtown Jacksonville if they do anything with prostitutes. They'll look at you like you're stupid. In addition to any other penalty imposed, the court shall sentence a person convicted of a second or subsequent violation of paragraph 2F to a minimum mandatory period of incarceration of 10 days. If a person who violates paragraph 2F uses a vehicle in the course of the violation, they're going to hold on to your vehicle for 60 days. It's disgusting. And they're the ones setting you up. What's this called? All of this, what I just described to you, is called extortion. But we can do it because we're the law. No, the law is the law. This is going to stop. You all are condemning these people, these girls, these women, who the vast majority of them, yes, some of them are strung out on drugs. But what is the solution to all of this? Not more laws, not locking them up, not fining people. The solution is JESUS. You all need to stop. Almighty God does not look at you, does not look at anyone as fodder. And this is, what you're reading is supposed to be coming and written by ministers of Almighty God, according to Romans chapter 13. Jesus hung around prostitutes. He had a prostitute. He had a prostitute who was one of his disciples. And yes, once again, was she still turning tricks? No. But the only reason why she stopped turning tricks is because Jesus took the time to show her love. Period. This needs to stop. This will stop.